has been an ongoing issue with the county, with the people that work there, with Paulina, areas like that. So mainly this meeting today, it's not to hash over what was, because it's over. But it's to begin with what's new. What can we do now? Can we move forward now? Is there enough interest to move forward? Are there enough people to do that? This kind of a project is not short term. It's very long term. It might be several years in the makings. Initially, we might be very fruitful and be able to save Rager, but how do we keep it? How do we sustain it? How do we keep it going? Who works there? Who does what? I mean, those are just millions of questions. And so as the Patriots talked about it, it seemed appropriate to at least try to have an initial meeting to create any interest. Is there interest? And obviously there is for you because you came. And we want to thank you for coming here. It's good to see you all. And today we hope to just talk a little bit about what we can do, who's interested, some of the ideas that might be brought forward. The Patriots have done some research on a few things, but not a lot. Are any of you here have been on the county natural resource pack? I know. Oh, good. Good. So you know what kind of work it took. It took a lot of people working on little individual projects, bringing it all together and coming up with a plan that we could present to the county court. And that's basically the process that we probably have to use here. It may look a little different. We may not be a PAC. We may not be a nonprofit. I understand there are some people here that were part of the original Friends of Rager nonprofit. And to my understanding, that's not in existence anymore. And we don't know why it didn't go forward, but right now we need to know why we want to go forward. So as we talk today, think about where you want to be involved. Do you want to be involved? Is it worth it to you as a community to find out about this resource? And how much energy do you want to put into it? Because believe me, it'll take a lot of work. And I'm just the facilitator. I'm not the leader, thank goodness. But I agreed to help set this meeting up so people could come and get an opportunity to talk about it. I'm going to let Pete say a few words because I know he has such a heart for this.
Most of you know who I am, but anyway, yes, I feel that Rager has got to be saved, and it is going to go away. Gary Asbridge will give us some information on that, and it is not because that's what he wants, it's not because what his boss wants, it's because of what comes from higher up. And basically, it's cost them money right now to take care of. And the goal that I'm looking for, and that's why I invited Seth to come, but is for the county court to take it over, because that's the easiest way for the county to take Rager over, is the easiest way, but we've got to have it so it's not a burden on the county. It's got to be an asset to the county, and I think there's no way that if we don't do it right, that it won't be an asset. I mean, I don't have Gary probably got all the information there, but I think there's still like 18 houses up there and duplexes, but there's a large amount, and there are actually some damage to the houses. But overall, I fixed up far worse houses than the very worst one there that is very feasible to fix up. And we don't have to go in there with $1 million and do everything immediately. We can go in and just plug away at it. But like I told Jane on this, is if nobody is interested in saving Rager, I still am. And I will fight till the last building comes down to keep it from happening. And so I just hope that I'll get a bunch of other people with me that is willing and passionate in doing Rager. And like I say, it will take work. It's not something that's going to happen by sitting home and thinking, boy, I wish somebody would save Rager, because I need every bit of help I can get.
Okay. Gary, why don't you come up and give the folks what's happening with Rager right now?
Again, my name is Gary Asbridge. I'm the district ranger for the Paulina Ranger District on the Ochoco. I came from the Mount Hood. I've only been here about 1.5 years, so if you're looking for a historical perspective on Rager, I am not the guy. But I've been out there a number of times, and it's a beautiful area. And had several discussions with some of you, Pete in particular, but a few others, and I think my basic message is gonna be the same, and Pete essentially said it, and I'll go into a little bit of detail, but the Forest Service is very open to any feasible proposal for use of the site. But until we get such a proposal and can act on it and move on it, we are also actively pursuing getting rid of some of the buildings out there and decommissioning the site, essentially, part of it. And I'll get into that. So, in June of last year, we actually had a field trip out to Rager. It was spearheaded by the Patriots, and there were quite another number of people out there. Judge Crawford was there, Jerry Brummer, several other folks. Ken Fogren, I can't remember if he was there or not, but
Yes,
and we basically toured a good bit of the facility and talked about a lot of what I think we're going to talk about right now. And a lot of folks, I think most of the people who had been there, and I see several of you in the room that I recognized from that, had been out there before, but some really good discussion. So the message I gave them is essentially the message I'm going to give you today. The Rager office and compound was closed in 2012. There's 35 buildings that remain, 3 of which are historic. They were built by CCC crews, one of which is the old ranger station. There's an old barn and what we call the shop. So all the above ground fuel tanks have been removed. Most of the underground heating tanks have been removed. So there's been some decommissioning work that's gone on. We still use the facility. We have, under both permit and agreement, Oregon State Police stays in one of the houses quite regularly, especially during hunting season, as does ODF&W. We have work crews out there off and on during the field season. We've got OSU work crews that come out, and every once in a while, kind of the random researcher or somebody like that may stay out there for a bit. Generally, always in one of the bunkhouses, or the bunkhouse that we call it the Taj. It's basically just a house. That's just what it's called. So the Forest Service estimate for deferred maintenance for the entire facility is $4 million. And I only throw that out as just to put it in context, that to bring all of the buildings back up to a standard that meet health and safety codes and so on, the Forest Service estimate is $4 million. So as Pete said, it's going to take a lot of work. So the current situation is all the buildings within the compound were evaluated for eligibility for the National Register for Historic Buildings. And we did that in consultation with the State Historic Preservation Officer as per the National Historic Preservation Act. I have heard some rumors going around that there's a belief that none of the buildings can be removed due to the Antiquities Act. I talked to my forest archaeologist about that. The Antiquities Act does not apply to this situation. But we have complied with everything we need to in regards to the National Historic Preservation Act. So at this point in time, of the 35 buildings, we want to keep about 10 of them, including the 3 that were built by the CCC crews.